Hello everyone. Today I suddenly came up with a good idea. So I went all the way 100 kilometers to the store just to buy a roll of TV antenna cable for this video. And to avoid wasting it, I'll just cut a piece about 80 centimeters long, which is just enough for this video. In this step, I'll strip off a short section of the outer insulation from any end of the cable, exposing the copper core, to get ready for attaching the connector. I'll briefly explain the structure of the antenna cable, so you can understand, especially if you're new. Its structure has several layers. The outermost is a plastic insulation layer for protection. Beneath that is a braided metal shield, which helps reduce interference and block noise. Next comes a thin dielectric layer that separates the shield from the core. And finally, at the center, there is the copper core, which is the main conductor for the signal. I'll continue using a knife to remove the outer insulation, keeping only the copper core. In this step, I'll cut a bit longer, but I'll leave just a short piece of insulation, about the length of a pinky finger. Have you noticed how the price of tools just keeps climbing day by day? Back then, whenever I went to the store for a pair of pliers, a hammer, or a roll of wire, I would just pick it up and pay, without a second thought. But now, standing at the counter, I find myself staring at the little price sticker, pausing for a few seconds before deciding whether to bring it over to pay or not. Small things like light bulbs, screws, rolls of tape, they may look insignificant, but when added together, they make you stop and think. And perhaps, what weighs on me most is not just the money, but the feeling that everything is changing faster than I expected. When I was younger, I used to laugh whenever my father complained. Back in the day, these things were easy to buy, dirt cheap. And now, here I am, repeating that exact same line. Maybe that's a clearer sign that I've stepped into another stage of life. By the way, I'll also say this. I'm going to use this piece of cable to make an antenna. If you find this topic interesting, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And now I'll coil this copper core into a spring shape. Now I'll bend the spring from a straight shape into a circle. It will serve as the antenna whisker to receive the signal. Why do we have to do that? Let me explain it to you like this. When the copper core is bent into a circle, it acts as a loop antenna. This shape helps capture signals from multiple directions instead of just along a straight line. Simply put, it's like opening your ears in all directions, making it easier to catch the signal. The next step is to connect the other end of the cable to the connector. But before that, I'll wrap a few turns of electrical tape around the antenna whisker end to secure and protect it. Before assembling, let me briefly talk about the F connector. This is a type of coaxial cable connector that first appeared in the 1950s, originally used in cable television systems in the United States. Its advantage is a very simple design, easy to install while still maintaining a stable signal. Thanks to its low cost and convenience, the F connector quickly spread worldwide and is still widely used today in TVs, internet modems, and various signal reception devices. And that's it. We finished making a DIY mini antenna. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that only 80 centimeters of TV antenna cable is enough to make the DIY antenna. But actually, that's only for the antenna element itself. To connect directly to the TV, we also need a cable. So I'll make use of the remaining cable as an intermediate connection, one end to the antenna and the other end to the TV. You can follow the connection method shown on the screen. If there's any part you're not sure about, just rewind the video and leave a comment below. Are you dozing off while I'm working here? Leave a comment and let me know which part you're struggling with. I'll connect this end of the cable to the antenna, then bring it over to the TV to check if the signal displays well. Right now I still haven't plugged in the other end of the cable, so the TV is still showing no signal. Stay tuned for the result. In less than 4 seconds after I plugged the connector into the TV, the screen lit up and worked normally. Let's wait a little longer together to see if it works stably. It seems the signal is still working stably. Now I'll unplug the cable and plug it back in to test again. This time it did take a little longer to catch the signal, but the important thing is that it turned out stable in the end. That's also the reason why I wanted to test it again and again to make sure this DIY mini antenna can actually be used in real life, not just work for the first few seconds. If you find this video interesting, leave a comment and let me know what you think. Hit like to support, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to see more upcoming ideas. Every bit of your support is the motivation for me to keep creating things that may look a little crazy, but turn out to be useful.